I know it's a truism. I know it sounds like easier said than done. I'm absolutely aware. But my dearest, we always need to make it a habit to try to identify those quick tactics that push us to a more advantageous endgame. Now, in the last move that Black played here, King to G7, which from a point of view seems to be a little bit normal to want to get the king away from the rook's check. There is a little bit of exposure here. I was actually considering here with the bishop on b3 that I had in this endgame. Just bear with me, it's quite nice and instructive here. I was thinking about how to protect my bishop against the a4 black pawn coming down. I mean, I was already making plans here. Should I play a3? Should I play a4? What do I do? They're going to push my the pawn down, and what do I do with the bishop? What am I supposed to do? And I was lucky enough to actually identify a very quick tactic. And at the end of it all, after all the pieces had come out of the board now, they're all going to get traded, so to speak. Actually, I'm going to retain myself. Pawn majority on the king side, 3 versus 2. And on the right-hand side, the knight and the bishop and the white rook and the 2 black rooks going to get traded. That's what I thought, and it went absolutely brilliantly, because the move that I decided to play here was bishop to e6. And I've already envisaged now that my opponent, if they were to capture, of course, by the way, they shouldn't even taken, but it's incredibly difficult psychologically to decide not to take. And they went for capturing. And obviously now knight takes, checks the king, attacks the rook. King has to move. They can't move in check, so they got to go whatever, g8, or they have to go g8 because they need to provide double defense for the rook on f8. So they move king g8, which absolutely makes sense. But now the knight and the rooks will get traded. So knight takes, and well, if they don't take, actually I'm going to have an extra piece against them. So they have to take, and upon taking, I take and then take. And that's already the end game that we want to have here, because pawn majority and because active king. So we chose this kind of setup that will allow ourselves to actually take advantage of the extra pawn here. And whilst the black king might be busy, then you're going to be swerving with your king and attacking on the right hand side, on the king side. So we want like king to f2. Well, they played f7. Of course, they could have played e7 as well. King to e3. Now I'm going towards the guys on the left-hand side or the queen side. King tries to opposing me. And now, of course, I'm going d. They go. And, of course, there are some waiting moves you could play now, just probing the field and see what they decide to go. By the way, this guy can't be pushed because we're going to take him straight away. And there's just pretty much not too much to do at the current moment. And now I decided to just simply forget about my pawn island on the queen side and just simply marching on with the king, because they just given me the space. So I've decided to go now on to g6 and attacking. For a second here, I've hesitated, but actually you don't need to act on this. You don't need to take on a4. You just go on to f6, because even if they were to capture, you're going to take back. You still have your pawn majority. The black king can't approach them, so not a problem. King f6 to go after the g6. They play something like c5. Again, you don't have to do nothing. Let them take. You're going to take, trade, whatever. They can't make a pass pawn over there. And after we take on g6, black resigned here, because there's nothing they could practically do at this stage. So very important, I think, and very instructive. I'm going to go just briefly back where we were last time. So always important to looking out for tactics, identifying those subtle moves that actually will give you a positive, more advantageous endgame. So trade off the whole stuff, retain yourself the extra pawn, and then win the position, win the game. So that was a very short video for my dearest young chess students at the various primary schools, chess clubs, and we're going to see you guys with another short video, maybe on the short section, or maybe with a live stream that is tomorrow. Thanks very much. Soren Chess Coach here, signing off.